Pandesal. Oh no,
Bum, 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 bum.
I
We
don't got
are
pandesal.
live now. We are live now. We are live, live, live now. What do you mean? Huh? What are you talking about?
That's Jason listening to himself sing while I put on my socks,
Yeah,
folks.
I had to close that one out.
You got the intro going?
Jesus, everything is like on. What's going on? What's up, people? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's going on?
You got the intro going? Click it.
Yeah. You ready for it?
Yes.
Two guys from two worlds. This is the flip side. New episodes uploaded on YouTube every Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now, your hosts, Jay and Noel. Isang libot, isang
Special
tuwa.
announcement, folks. Special
Oh,
announcement. We're off
look,
of coffee and we're on buko juice.
you're back to Buko Juice because you went back there before.
That's right. I got off of it because I was into coffee, and now we're back to buko juice.
Nice. Is that like ice cold or no?
Ice cold, baby. You
Yeah.
know
I
what's
missed
so
that.
nice about the mornings these days lately? Well, aside from the fact that I probably don't really experience it all the time, it's so nice and refreshing morning. Didn't get enough sleep, but the weather lately. I
Yeah.
mean, has it been cold throughout the rest of the world? There's like a cold front here right now that's nice and chilly.
That's good. Well, it's been freezing here, and today was actually the first real freezing weather that we've had this winter season, where we had some snow in the morning, like around 9 o'clock. It didn't really accumulate or anything, but it turned into rainy ice or icy rain. Icy rain? Yeah. So, needless to say, stupid drivers are out on the road, getting into accidents, and so forth and so forth.
Speaking of ice, I have a friend. His name is Tito Ice on YouTube. That's the name of his channel, Tito Ice, the one with the motorcycle and everything. He goes around,
Yeah.
does moto vlogs and stuff. I showed him the podcast the other week when we were
Uh,
catching up and everything. I was going to ask you if there's anything new on Eat Bulaga because you were seeing it a while ago. But anyway, we were catching up, talking about the motorcycle and everything. Plus, I told him that we were doing a podcast together. And the first thing
mm,
that he notices about our little shenanigan here is
right.
the reflection of the monitor on my glasses. So
So,
annoying.
something I've been telling you for 100 episodes already.
But the other positive thing was like, "Do you have two cameras?" I was like, "No, that's just this thing flipping around like that, and we're
Right.
just like it
Did
looks
he
like
actually subscribe?
two cam." Subscribe, I don't know, but he was listening for a good 10 minutes, so I think he was into it. But a lot of it was he was like squinting like that. Sabi ko, "Ano, malabo ba?" Sabi niya, "Hindi, malabo lang mata ko."
That's
So
awesome.
he sounded like he was having fun.
Is
Ako
that the
naman
guy that
was,
you showed me the other day?
bro, it was so weird. Yeah, I showed you the picture of us hanging out at his gotohan. So apparently, I think he has a gotohan with his brother.
Right.
Sorry, I don't have any picture ready
No, it's
for you,
fine.
but
It's
you
fine.
can
It's
go
fine. It's
ahead and
fine.
pull it up on Messenger if you like. Feel free to share. But um, what was I saying about Tito Ice? Yeah, he was listening to it. And
Yeah.
no, I wanted to share what I did want to really talk about with you was how awkward it was to listen to someone listening to us talk. I mean, it's just a podcast, right? I mean, it's
Right.
not like we were doing porn or anything like that. But I felt so, I felt so naked. I didn't have any. Sabi ko sa kanya, pwede ba mamaya sa CR mo na lang gawin yan? Like, can you just do that in the toilet? Because he was listening to us so intently, like, he
While
was
you were sitting there eating, right there. That's him right there, right?
right. As in, kumakain kami ng goto,
Hmm.
and then he's like back there right beside us listening to the podcast.
All you hear is your voice in the background.
Yeah, I guess the positive thing is that the audio is so loud. It's a good level in a sense that it's piercing through his cell phone
Right.
and into his ears. So
Well,
the audio is
that's
good.
good. At least it's actually projecting right.
Yeah, yeah. So the audio is good at least. Yeah, Tito Ice, check out his YouTube channel, and you want to check out his gotohan. It's at Martillete Street on Marikina. In
Wow.
in Marikina,
Nice, nice, nice. Oy,
and
Tito Ice, ano advertise naman, no?
got gotoans.
Yeah,
And you miss it because it looks like a regular house, like a residential with a gate open. The
right.
one with the gate open, that's the garage, and the garage is where the gotohan is,
Those are the better places to go to, though.
which is what we were hoping we could be doing here in our garage, but
Right.
hasn't happened yet.
Why hasn't it happened again? I think we had that
Oh,
discussion before.
one more thing, Jason.
Hmm.
Unlimited lugaw,
Stop
and
it.
then they got tokwat baboy, and
Oh, and that's
it's
unlimited
awesome.
too.
No, not unlimited tokot baboy. It's just the goto that's unlimited, and then what you call this? There's another one that I like to eat there, yung okoy.
I don't know
Yun.
what okoi is.
Lumpia. Lumpia. But I think they call it okoy because it's a simple version of lumpia. I mean, it doesn't have all the meat and stuff inside.
Is
This
it
one's
like?
lumpia, like
Thank you, my baby.
it's just got
My wife just brought me coffee. Thank you.
vegetables inside. Hey, cheers.
Cheers. Hello,
So
handsome.
that's it. That's what we had over the weekend, Mr.
Nice.
Handsome.
I was actually mentioning that to you because you were saying lugao, and then I said goto is what I missed. Now, is there a difference?
You know, I get confused with both, actually. But come to think of it, the other one that I do like is arroz caldo. So that's another one that gets confusing. But they're all the
But
same, like
that's not
sticky
the same.
rice.
Arroz caldo is like porridge.
Yun nga, they're all practically the same because it's like water and sticky rice.
Right,
So
right, right,
arroz
right, right,
caldo just has I guess chicken floating there somewhere. Like you have to look for it. And then
Jeez. There's
there's
eggs in it.
goto. But you're right though. There I get confused between goto and lugaw. But again,
Yeah,
it's the
that.
same thing.
So it's the same thing. Okay, all right. Essentially,
Mm. Essentially, it's like getting confused with pancit bihon and pancit malabon.
what are you
I mean, it
talking about? Pancit malabon is like palabok.
no,
That I
pero
think
ibig
that's
ko
what you meant.
sabihin, ibig ko sabihin it's confusing na they're all just pancit. It's just a matter of like what's inside
Well, that
or the
makes.
size of the
Yeah.
bihon
Well, I
or the
guess that
size
makes
of the
that
noodle.
makes the difference. Yeah.
But it's the same thing in a sense that it's pancit. Well, that's my take on it.
Right.
Educate
Right.
me if
Right.
you need to, but
No.
that's how I understand it. So how we have different types of pancit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like different types of goto and lugaw.
Mm.
Parang
Right.
ganun lang.
Right.
Except
Right. Right.
yung with lugaw, we don't put the where it's from, like pancit malabon.
I
We
just,
don't.
I actually just noticed that it's like they have to stamp it from where they live and whatnot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today? Because I want to Google that. I want to look for it while you're talking.
What do you mean? Which one? Oh no, I mean, well, there's a couple of things that we have on our list going on. So there's this one thing that you sent, this
Mm.
video about China's silent invasion of the Philippines. I actually watched the whole thing, and it's kind of interesting to be honest with you. Big, well, yeah, well, we're gonna get to that. Also, what we have in the docket today is, I guess, local municipalities in the Philippines and its own kind of government and residential benefits. I
Right.
think I think we brought that up or poached it last week. Also, I wanted to talk about customer service, the flip side of what it means in the U.S. and the Philippines, and
Mm.
in relation to that, tipping. The out of control issue of tipping here in the U.S. What has become an entitled industry. It's insane and it's driving me crazy because I know the flip side of that in the Philippines is
Mm.
you don't really need to tip much. It's
Exactly.
really up to you.
Or they even tell us do not tip. It's already part of your bill.
That I don't understand because I mean all those times that I've been there, I've never seen a tip included in my bill. Right? There's
Yeah.
actually been occasions where I was actually chased out of the restaurant, giving me my money back for the tips.
So
But okay, here
actually,
we go.
I do
So,
hope that we get to those topics, but just a quick education here. So Goto is the one on the left, and then Lugoto is the one on the right.
so I guess Goto has more meat or whatnot inside of it, and
Yeah,
Lugao is mainly the soup itself or the porridge, right?
that's right. That's right. But they both got garlic. They both usually have like these onion leaves and egg floating around. And yeah, again, it's the stuff that you got in there. So there's another one that my dad likes, congee, the one on the bottom left.
Right, right, right. I
But
think those are essentially, like you said earlier, just like the way this is grouped. It's kind of the
mm,
same. All of them are kind of the same.
so there's a
Essentially,
basta
they're just different soups or different kind of porridges.
same base. It's kind of like talking about the difference between ramen this and ramen that,
Yeah,
like just
right,
different.
right, right.
But with ramen, the base soup is completely different. This one is practically, I think it's practically the same.
Well, with
I
ramen, the
think.
star of ramen is the soup and then the noodles.
Right. This one, baliktad yata. The star of this series right here is what you're going to get after you get the soup. I think.
But there's not much soup in any of those, though. It's mainly just like kind of, it's not brothy, is what I mean. It's like kind of
Right.
porridgey, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Yun nga. So let's rephrase that. So the main thing with these guys are the recado on the side, and then the sideline I think is the porridge. I mean, if you
Mm,
want to call it porridge. Pero yun, um, that's my little take on it. I think I could be
right,
wrong, but I think that's like discussions like this would be nice to talk to Roberto, but I don't know the history behind that. Of course, this got all like Chinese. There's got to be Chinese influence on all of these, and then I
right.
guess it was just a matter of location or however these people decided to switch it around. I'm guessing, but again, I get confused with Lugao, the one on the bottom right, and Goto, which is the one on the upper right.
Right. Right.
But and you go to these carinderias, and not all of them have the same standards when it comes to these different porridges.
Yeah. 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 In any case, I'm still kind of surprised nowadays, though, when I hear that. I think you saying that it's all you can eat is probably the third time that I've ever heard having that in the Philippines for something like that. Because that's like a meal on its own and then some. You know what I mean?
You heard of unlimited rice?
Unlimited rice?
Before we get to
No.
your tipping rant, let's talk
Yeah.
about unlimited rice. So yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, there was Mang Inasal that started the idea of unlimited rice.
Mm,
And then now it's not so limited anymore. You get to choose if you want like regular meal, which is a little cheaper, or you want unlimited rice. It's about 15-20 pesos more. And then all these other restaurants started doing unlimited rice also. And then
but
now with Tito Ice Goto An in Martiliete Street in Marikina,
right.
uh, they started unlimited lugaw. So I
That's
don't know if
awesome.
other people will follow suit, but it's so nice because the people that actually go and hang out there, aside from the neighbors, are tricycle drivers.
Right.
And
Right.
then and then just around the corner, like literally 100 feet away, there's a McDonald's. So
So, well,
which is
McDonald's is more pricey though.
of course, at saka social, at saka naka-aircon ka and everything.
McDonald's is social.
Pero pagka, yeah, it is social here. I
Really?
know that's another thing. I don't want to get too far, get
No,
away
no, you're fine.
from.
You're fine.
We'll go back to tipping after McDonald's, but a lot of times there's a lot of people, let's say from the provinces, and no hate, a lot of
Mm,
respect, that when you let's say we have basta tara like celebrate tayo, we got 100 subscribers. Oh, gusto nyo ng ano yellow cab,
right.
army navy, or Chick-fil-A or something like that, something popular.
There's Chick-fil-A in the Philippines?
No, I'm
Oh,
guessing. I'm playing around with the idea. No, I was thinking of Chili's.
Okay, okay, okay.
So something to celebrate with. And then most of them will not eat that food and they'd go with McDonald's or Jollibee.
I do see a lot of people having birthday parties in Jollibee, like
Oh,
kids
oh.
wise type of thing, you know? Like my
Parang
half sister's kid had his party in Jollibee not too long ago, actually.
I think the word is ano parang it's too not it's too what's that
It's
word? Exotic. Like
exotic,
sometimes
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
too exotic for some people. So much respect. I mean, that's why I really ask them what they want to eat, for example, versus telling them, "Oh, you're going to like Yellow Cab pizza
Right, right.
or Shakey's or Pizza Hut."
Oh,
No,
shit.
some people really just they just stick to Jollibee and or McDonald's on the side when it comes
Right.
to like little celebrations and little comfort food for them. It's
Yeah,
either
yeah,
that or
yeah.
karinderya, parang ganun. So
Well,
yeah,
it is different though.
yeah, you gotta respect people's palates.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my 2 cents to get us towards your tipping rant. Why
Well,
did you get into this all of a sudden?
it's not exactly okay. So let's start off with customer service, okay? Because this relates to it. So the past couple of days, took the family out. We ate. Like I said, we also went to Jollibee over the past weekend, or going to a grocery store. But what got me about this is I was at the store. Um, yeah, you know what? I'll say it. I was at Costco. Oh no, not Costco. I'm sorry, Walmart the other day. I was doing some groceries for the house, because we needed some food and whatnot. I was asking for help trying to find a certain item that I know for a fact is in stock in store because I have checked it through the mobile app. Okay. I asked, I want to say 6 people for help. 2 of them literally pulled the I don't understand English move on me. I don't speak English, no entiendo, no habla inglés. And then
Mm.
I actually told the person, señora, señora, por favor, yo entiendo en español un poquito. Like I actually told them that I understand a little bit of Spanish. I just need help.
Uh,
And then she just kept saying, no, So I said, you know what? Screw it. I turned around, found a different person to help me. Um, the
you
other
can
people just told me literally, I swear to God, everybody just gave me aisle numbers to go to, and it just turns out it's not even there, not even close to being there. Okay.
let me share my experience with you if I was in the same thing here in the Philippines.
Mm.
I haven't even asked for anything yet, and there's already somebody following me around.
Right. Because they want to help out for most
And I'm
reasons, right?
no, no, no. But I'm like, I'll ask if I need anything. Just
Right.
just stay there. And
That's
then
kind of like the overbearing feeling that you
yeah,
get from customer
yeah,
service in the
yeah,
Philippines.
yeah. And then I move away, and then like,
Yeah,
you could
stay
sit
there.
right there. Stay
Don't
there.
move.
Sit. Stay. It's all right.
No. Here, if you ask people for help in regards to like, especially in grocery stores or whatnot or convenience stores, where can I find this? Um, um, over there, or ask that lady in the front. I'm sorry, I don't work in that department. It's insane. It's driving me crazy, right? And
Mm.
then there was that one time as well, same week, we ate. Actually, it was in Jollibee, all right? And I could not get the people to freaking just pay attention to what I'm asking for. And it's simple. And then they're the ones who gets mad. I'm talking about like I went up to try to get the shortage of juice, pineapple juice that they gave us. They shorted us one, so I went to go back to ask. I kid you not, the person that was helping me was like, "Really?
I'm too
You see
busy
the
for
line right
this.
here? Give me the look, the face, like I'm interrupting and bothering them,
Like there's a
right?
hundred people behind you, and here you are complaining about your apple juice, pineapple juice.
Right, but he's just standing there doing absolutely nothing while the other people were actually checking people out through the register. He's
Mm.
literally the support guy that's supposed to be checking all the orders. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then he made it look like I'm interrupting his day. But when you're about to go pay them, at the very end of it, it's still going to ask you tip. First of all, they
Wait,
all relate to each other. There's customer service thing and there's tip.
hold on. I was about to joke about it. So they were asking for tip at Jollibee?
They didn't ask for it up front, but at the end of the register or the screen where you're supposed to verify your order,
Mm.
it says 15%, 18%, 20% pre-calculated amount for tip, right?
Wow.
And then it says at the fourth option, it says other.
Mm.
On top of that, at the bottom of the register, there's like a cup that says tip well appreciated. Oh, what? What? You
For
didn't do
what?
anything for me. You didn't do anything. You're not providing any kind of service. You literally getting their order and picking it up and handing it to me so I can walk it to my own table and eat it. Right? And it's just getting to me how customer service here in the States has practically been non existent. Everybody is acting like they're freaking entitled to the tip that they're supposed to get. The one thing I hate the most, if you go to a restaurant here, okay, nowadays, when you're supposed to be the waiter, when you say waiter in the Philippines, okay, the waiter takes your order at the same time delivers your order, at the same time checks on you if you need any drinks, wipes your table if you have, does everything, correct?
Hmm.
Here, there's a
Hmm.
waiter who takes the orders and
Mm.
brings you your bill at the end.
Mm. Mhm.
In between that, there's somebody that's the food runner. That's called the food runner.
Mhm.
It's hard to understand why a waiter can't deliver your food. That's why it's called a waiter. Duh. You don't need to hire a food runner. And then on top of that, there's a busser that usually walks around filling up or refilling your sodas or your waters or anything. Really?
Mm.
It's called a waiter. A food runner and a busser is unnecessary. That's a waiter's job. Essentially, the waiter basically takes your order, disappears. Once maybe we'll pop back in just to see how's everything going. Will only pop back in after you get your food, if you get your food correctly. And then if they get it wrong, they're not going to take responsibility for it. Instead, oh, the food runner probably brought it to the wrong table. Go screw yourself. No. And then on top of that, at the end of the day or the
Mm.
meal, you get your bill. When you get your bill, they have the audacity, restaurants nowadays, to put in actually before it was 10, 15, 18%.
Mm.
And then 15%, 18%, 20%.
Mm.
Now it's 18%, 20%, 22% tip. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm going to give you a 20% tip for taking my order and then handing me the bill. That's it. That's it. And it's pissing me off because these customer service guys, these food service people are not doing anything to begin with. And then they're the ones that get pissed off when the order is wrong. I don't get it. It does, to me, you're paying for the experience, right? Not just the food, but the experience. You get your tip based on the kind of service that you provide.
There's also the experience of, between the waiter and the customer. There's only one of us that's actually waiting here.
Right. Right. Exactly. Hence the title, waiter, right?
Come to
Waiter.
think of it.
But it's funny that you say that because in our case here, the flip side of that here in the US is it's not just one person who's waiting. It's not just a waiter. The
Mm.
customer's always waiting. And I'm sorry, when food takes 45 minutes to come, sometimes it's a pain in the ass. It
Mm.
shouldn't be. And then you have the audacity to ask for 50, 18, 15, or 18, 20, and 22%.
You're hangry.
Yeah, basically. You know,
Are you hangry right now?
here's the worst part. Okay. If you're going to go to like even fast food restaurants right now, right? Just like with Jollibee,
Mm.
they're not providing service. You're going up to a counter, placing your order and then picking up your own order in the counter, right?
Thank you. I speaking of which, my server just.
Oh, see, she deserves a tip.
I think she deserves a tip. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, but at the end of taking picking up your order or placing your order, they still have the bottom at the bottom. They automatically place like tip options
Mm-mm.
of 15%, 18%, 20%, or 18, 20, and 22%, and then other.
That's so weird to have that in Jollibee.
They have it
Really.
at that. I'm just using that as an example. McDonald's has that as well.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's because here the way it happens is that number one, Carinderia and McDonald's, no tipping for sure. They throw you your money back. They'd be like
Right.
insulto. It'd be an insult to them if you give them tip.
Mm, mm.
Um, but for the higher end um restaurants, like again, like Chili's is probably the only thing that I could think of that, and maybe Yellow Cab that you probably were probably both aware of. Even there's like all the way at the bottom. It's like there's already like a they call it service charge here.
So they actually add
Um,
it.
but yeah, actually, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not, what's the word? Discouraged. It's very discouraged around here because I guess there's a lot of like left and right under the table kind of thing going on with
Tipping is
tipping.
discouraged in the Philippines
No, yeah. I mean, it's encouraged
in
to
some
pay it
places, I
direct.
guess.
No, no, no. To pay it directly to the cashier because it's part of the bill.
Ah,
But as far as like loose money flying around, it's not part of the bill. But you did me a favor, kind of thing.
right.
They're trying to clean that up because a lot of times, they put it straight to their pocket and not to the tipping jar where everybody else gets a
Correct.
cut.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there's that whole thing going on, which reminds me, they're trying to do the same thing with the government offices, government of not officials, but just the government office experience that you have here. That do not well, don't go to fixers, number one, and number two, don't be tipping people around because I
Right.
guess people used to do that before, like maybe back in the 80s or 90s or
Right. Especially
early
during elections. Yeah.
early days. Yeah, like
Mm.
even just to get my basic requirements, like a lot of people, and then to top that off, I think Duterte, the last president before Marcos, he also ordered a lot of these things, a lot of the payment for, let's say, the cedula or the barangay certificate, just little pieces of paper like that. Like, you shouldn't be paying for that anymore.
Right.
Just
You
give it.
shouldn't anyway. Right.
Just give it.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so a lot of times you don't, like, usually they're like 10, 15, 20, 30 pesos for the printing and the ink.
Hmm.
But now it's like, which rightfully so, they got the budget for that. The office has the budget for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just give it to the people that live in your neighborhood.
Right.
So that's what
Right.
they're so that's like, that's not exactly a tip, but it's like these silly, stupid, miscellaneous things that you have to pay for on the side. Anyway, but going back to the tip, yeah, there's like if it's a high end restaurant here, or
Right.
like, not high end, but like where
Like
middle class go
above
to,
average fine dining type of thing.
above average. No, 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 not above average. It's just anything above McDonald's and Jollibee. There's
Right.
no tipping. I mean, there's
Even
tipping, but it's part of your bill. McDonald's and Jollibee and below, no tipping. It'd be an insult for you to give them any tip, although they
so
would
even
probably
if you
accept
go
it.
to like for example, I went to a Baba Gump in I think it was
Yun,
Greenbelt or whatever.
yun.
I actually tipped,
It's
and
already on your bill for sure.
right. It was actually added on the bill, and when I went to the Bubba Gump in Greenbelt in the Philippines, but it was so little. I think it was like 3%. So
Oh,
I added a little bit more, and then we went to a sushi restaurant in
wait, but this Bubba Gun one is where you added to the bill, and then you added extra, and then they ran after you and said, "Sir, you paid too much."
right. That was the first time it ever happened to me because
Right.
same thing here in the U.S. If there's a group of six or more, the tip is automatically included. They automatically put that in there. And by the way, nowadays it's 18 or 20%. Can you imagine?
Wow.
At the Baba Gump when I went there in the Philippines, then again, this was a long time ago. I think it was like 3%, if that. It was so little in comparison to what the bill was that I actually felt bad because we actually had two waiters. Then again, there was like 8 of us or 10 of us because I took some family there to eat, and then I ended up adding a little bit more in the tip. This was the first time it ever happened to me. So when we left, I think I left like a $10 tip. Well, it wasn't a lot, but it's a lot in comparison to what they added. Right?
Mm-mm.
They literally chased after us. Outside and it's like, sir,
Yeah.
you overpaid.
You know why? Because they wouldn't know what to do with the money. It's like they don't have a tip jar in the kitchen.
Right, right.
You know,
I
it'll be
had to go back inside and talk to the manager and say, hey, can you explain to them that I want them to split this? I had to tell them to do that.
uh-uh. But they wouldn't know what to do with it. The tip. I've never worked in a restaurant, but I'm
Mm,
guessing that the tip will be given to them maybe at the end of the week or end of the month in their account, and not like from a tip jar.
right,
Because they want it to be even for everyone. I mean, like for example, the chef is not going to get anything because he's
right.
not outside, and only the waiters are going to be and then it's not even going to go to the rest of the servers or the waiters. It's going to go to him personally, which I guess everybody else thinks that is unfair.
Correct. No, no, it
So
makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
so they're trying to fix that, and I'm guessing that part of it is like, where am I going to put this? I'm not supposed to hold money with me, and then at the same time, there's no tip jar to to divide it amongst everybody else.
Now, here's
So
the
here,
difference, though.
take your money back.
Right. Well, because here they're not gonna. There's no way they're gonna chase. They're gonna chase after you because your 15% tip is not enough. I'm not kidding. That's happened to me so many times here that leaving a tip for a service that even 15%, which is the minimum on their list of like options that they give you for tips, right? Or other, but I still went with 15%, even though the service was horrible and definitely not even worth 15%. They came after me. I'm like, sir, were you not happy with your food? I'm like, it's not the food. I'm paying for the food, but the tip is for the service.
I'm sorry. I'm happy with the food. If you don't mind, just just continue
I'm
your
just
rant. I'm listening. Don't worry.
I know I'm just saying that if you're going to ask for a tip, typically in the customer service industry, not necessarily, you know what? Let me put it this way: tipping is typically a courtesy gesture, or is a gesture for a service that you have received, either be in the customer service industry or anywhere else, like the hotel industry.
Yeah.
Like when I was working in the hotel industry, even managing a coffee shop before, I used to make a crap load of money just on tips. Again, not crap loads in today's standard, crap loads of money from back then standards, like the 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-mm.
Um, but the most tip I got from one person working in the hotel industry, I got $500.
Wow.
Well, that's because we had a rich guy stay with us. He was like saying, um, I ran out of underwear and I only wear this kind of underwear. Is there any way to find it? I literally
Mm.
drove. I found it at like a Nordstrom that's like an hour away. I drove there,
Mm.
picked it up, delivered it to him the next day, and or left it in his room basically, and just left a note. They're like, "Sir, here it is. Yada yada yada. It's a receipt. We can just reimburse me."
Mm.
And then when he checked out, he handed me a $500 tip. Like it's nothing to him.
Nice.
But
So
my
you got
point
the
is,
underwear. Yeah, that's nice.
my point is, tipping is something that you give as a courtesy for services rendered or services given to you. And it
Right.
should be a deserving number, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not like you're entitled to this and that, which is what this industry, the customer service industry, has now been feeling like, or whatever, has gotten to.
Mm-mm.
It has become an entitled industry because automatically tapping on 15, 18, 20, whatever percent for a tip for something that is not even worth it. All you do is take an order, for example. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
And then you expect that kind of tip? No, I'm sorry, you don't deserve it. Or I'm gonna go to a like Chipotle, order food. It's a self service counter, by the way, where they make the food in front of you and you just order it. And
Mm-mm.
then at the end of your bill, it's showing you, oh, it's an option. You have to pay 10, 15, 20%. And sometimes there's no option to cancel. So then
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna tell the cashier, no, I don't want to place a tip, and then I'm gonna look like the jackass when they're, well, why aren't you gonna tip? You cheap bastard! No, come
Right.
on, man. You're not doing anything. You're doing your job. That's what you're doing.
I remember being, getting snarked at, like, like, oh, you're so cheap, back when I had my time there. But I
Mm.
never like thought much of it. Like, yeah, I am cheap. So what? I just walk away.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. You know,
But now you make it sound like they're gonna run after you, like out to the parking lot and complain if you don't tip.
because here that's how it is here. A lot of
Hindi,
times
hindi,
you don't
yun na nga.
understand. Yeah.
Yun na nga. So back in the early 90s when I was there, parang like, you're so cheap. I'm like, yeah, take it easy. Bye.
Right.
And I just walk away.
No,
They're
now
not
it's
gonna
not.
run after me. Now they would run after you, is what you're
Right.
saying.
Right. You go to a store here, like for example, you go to Target. You ask for, hey, where can I find I don't know, this and that. Um, can you ask that person there? You know, in many occasions in the Philippines, you go to a store. Sir, where can I find this? Oh, come on. Let's go ask the supervisor. At least they'll walk you over to somebody that might be able to help you, or will walk you directly to where this item is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the customer service industry, it is horrible to point when you point like this.
Mm.
It's horrible. Oh, you go that way. You go that way. You go that way. No, no, no. It's either you do this way, which is what they do in the Philippines, by the way, because this kind of shows gestures that you're showing the way, you're leading the way, not telling
Mm.
them just go there type of thing. You know what I mean?
Dun. Point with your
Right,
lips.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, here it's hard to find. You know what? I'm gonna sound kind of racist here, okay? And I'm gonna. It's okay, guys. If you want to comment on this, I apologize. But the only time here in the States that I really get good customer service, sad to say, not sad to say, when I'm asking for help from a Latino person or a Filipino person.
Is that
Most of the
racist?
time,
I
well, to
don't think so.
begin with, I don't know if it's racist or anything, but
I mean, it's your experience.
yeah, it's my experience. But sad to say, more often or not, I get the same lazy reaction from Filipino workers here in like customer service area. It's like they're being bothered because most of the time, to be honest with you, I find a lot of them chismis, chismis. They're being
Yeah.
marites like at the corner while they're folding their clothes and whatnot. What was that? you know. But
Uh,
to be honest with you, any kind of customer service industry where I see a Latin person working, they're
mm,
working. They're working.
mm-mm.
Even if they're chismising, they're working.
I
You
think it would
know.
be. Yeah, I think it would be more racist if you said all black people or all white people are, they're not helpful at
Yeah,
all.
that's true. That's true.
Maybe that would be racist. But if you
Yeah.
say that most of the help that I get are from Filipinos and Latinos,
Right.
is that racist? You're not
Yeah,
implying or
no, you're
saying
right.
anything
You're
about
right. They're
other.
not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Like for example, you go to our Asian restaurant here called Lotte, right?
Mm,
Most of the people that work there, at least like their stocking person or whatever, they're mainly Latino people. I barely see any Filipinos there, right? Every
mm-mm,
single time that I ask for help, I kid you not, they actually do what the Filipinos do in the Filipino stores, or in the Philippines. They go walk you to the not just walk you to the aisle. They'll walk you into the aisle and into that specific section of the item you're looking for, and for the most part, they will actually pick it up themselves and hand it to you. You know,
that's
and
right.
I just experienced that the other week when I went to Lotte to find I don't know, I can't remember. My wife asked me to get something and I had to go get it, and they literally walked me over to that aisle, picked it up. Oh, here you go, sir.
Yeah.
You asked that a
Yeah.
white
Well,
person. You asked that to other races or whatnot. They're like, oh, I don't know.
yeah. There's
You're
a
over
little
there.
bit of entitlement, I guess, or it's become part of the culture already. It
Mm,
depends.
mm.
But yeah, I mean, but on the flip side of that, though, we do get a lot of that too here. Like a lot of them are lazy, or they're just waiting. One of the worst ones before. I don't know if it's still going on now, but no, my last experience here in Las Piñas when we went to the city hall.
Right.
I cause back in the early 2000s, I was doing some government related work in government office work in Mandaluyong. I walked
Mm,
in there like at 4 o'clock. Ay, sirs, ano na kami? Parang last hour they were wrapping up, so they weren't taking any service or they weren't getting any jobs in anymore. It's like
mhm.
isa oras pa. Like you guys close at 4 o'clock. I mean, you guys
Right.
close at 5 o'clock. Why do you not take any more orders at 4:30? This one, it was like 4:59, and they were like, "Sige, pahabol natin. Come on, let's go." It'll be done in like a minute.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we're I guess in a way the good thing about that is people are working on it,
Hmm. Hmm.
companies are working on it, government offices are working on it, or they're aware of it. Pero yun that's what makes me hopeful about the Philippines. If we want to change the culture, which is like tipping or closing
Right.
before 4 o'clock or before
Right.
5 o'clock, we can do it. You just have to keep repeating it, saying it, and then other people will join in, and then it'll be done. It's kind of like giving unlimited rice or free lugaw. It'll
Right.
catch on.
Right.
Like most people will think it's stupid and crazy,
Right.
but just stick to your guns and do what you think is right, and we can change the country. But
It's such a huge difference though. I mean, customer service. Like, here's a good example. Like a perfect example, actually. Just the Jollibee here and the Jollibee in the Philippines. Okay, the Jollibee experience that I had here, which is by the way a brand new Jollibee that's probably a month old, brand new, newly opened and whatnot. It seemed like every time you try to ask people something, it felt like I'm interrupting their day. It felt like it was hard to get them to give me a proper answer. Now,
you don't want to see me eating while you're talking.
it's just weird. Anyway,
I'm
but the
sorry.
Jollibee, it's fine, it's fine. The Jollibee in the Philippines, you can tell the major difference on how the employees are. You know, they take
Plus,
it. Well, you know what?
they
It's
probably
also
get like
how.
1/5 of what they get there.
Well, it's not even that. It's not. Well, if even if that's the case, they're making more here. Shouldn't they be doing more here?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you
Right.
see, the way the culture is just different. And I'm not saying American culture per se. I'm just saying the
Well,
different culture within the industry or within
correct.
your company.
Right. Right. Well, the sad part there is, I guess that's, you know what, that's where it affects like how we were talking about before, how Filipino culture adapts to where they are, because the Jollibee that was here, again, they were Filipino workers, and it was quite disappointing.
Mm-mm.
The only time I felt like I was really going to Jollibee here before, unfortunately, is the Jollibee at Virginia Beach. So Virginia Beach is about 4 hours from here. That was the first Jollibee I think that was opened here in the East Coast. And when as soon as you walk in, what was that greeting? Welcome to Jolly something, sir. I gotta remember that greeting, man. That
You
was the only place I got it.
That's another question. Aside from tipping, does the all Jollibees do? I mean, do all restaurants do that greeting, or was it just that one
No, for the
branch?
Jollibee here,
Uh,
I've been to the Jollibee in Alexandria, in New Jersey, in
uh, do they do
I've
it?
been to the Jollibee in New Jersey, and then the one that opened here, and then the
Mm,
beach. The
mm,
one at the beach was the only one that's like when you walk in, it was like Jolly something, sir.
mm-mm.
Hi, how you guys
Right.
doing? You know,
So, because here, like Japanese restaurants and like other restaurants, they have their own like greetings
right,
going on.
right, right.
So, a lot of it, pero yun, that's another thing
Ohio,
that started with
Ohio.
like Japanese restaurants and stuff. So,
Right, right.
and then the other um, Asian or different cuisine, they also have their own greeting. going on. Listen, we're coming down to about last 15 minutes. You want to do like a quick uh lightning round on the all the other topics, or you want to
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
wrap up your tipping and
Well, all I'm saying is, okay, let me wrap this whole tipping thing real quick and the customer
mm,
service, okay? The customer service between here in the US is and in the Philippines, it's not even comparable, to be quite honest with you.
yeah.
Unless you're going to like a five-star hotel here in the States or whatever, a high-end place, it's practically the only place you're going to see good customer service. Otherwise, it's almost non-existent. It's
Mm,
horrible. And then on top of that, they ask you for such a large tip for doing nothing, you know. And then in the
for going
Philippines, on the other hand, Philippines are where these people who are
just think of it as you're getting out of the house tax.
right. Jesus Christ. Well put. Well put. Bravo. Bravo.
You want to go outside of the house, you pay.
right. Right.
May entrance fee.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope it gets better in regards to that. And you know what? Maybe I'm just bitching about it, but I think I'm justified in this one.
No, well, like I said, I noticed that when I moved back here, that there's like such a big tipping
Yeah.
difference in
Mm,
culture
mm.
here, and then on top of that, there's a different sense of service. Also, Starbucks, for example, you're not allowed to tip or anything like that. What about there?
Really?
Do you guys tip on in Starbucks?
Jesus Christ, dude. Not like I said, at the end of the screen
Mm,
where you're supposed to verifying your order, on top
mm,
of that, right next to where you swipe your card, there's also a
mm.
box which says tip appreciated. Whatever. Get out of here.
Well, there's a little bit of yeah, no. Meron bang tip sa Starbucks? Wala, di ba?
No.
Like a tip
Eh,
jar? Walang tip
No
jar?
tip.
Meron.
Tip. There's a tip
No.
jar
Yeah.
Ah,
Sa cashier.
sa cashier. Yeah.
exactly. That's what I meant. Because
Mm-mm.
I do remember when I was staying at the Shangri La. I think what's across the Shangri La, the green belt or whatever.
Glorieta.
Glorieta. Okay,
Yeah.
I went
I
to the
remember
Starbucks
that.
outside.
I remember the tip. The tip,
Yeah.
di ba? What if
Uh.
sa sales, like kunyari ikaw yung bumibenta, tapos yung kasama mo hindi, ikaw yung
Mm.
nagpapagod.
Ayun nga.
Ang point doon is sila mabibigyan ng hindi sila nagpapagod.
Right.
Yeah, yun
Right.
na nga
Right.
yung
Right.
rinereklamo nga nung iba.
Yeah.
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 Actually, yan yung inano ko, kaya hindi ko rin tinanggap yung, what do you call that, yung trabaho. Yung
Mm.
Mm.
ino-offer sa akin. Nasabi ko, tapos 20% lang ibibigay mo sa akin, na tas
Yeah.
ibibigay mo sa iba, the rest.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah. Yeah.
discussing a
Yeah.
lot of taking the job or not is about what kind of tip you're gonna be getting.
Right. Well, like I said, final thing. I think it's worth it when I tip in the Philippines, but unfortunately here, it's just not worth it. You know,
Mm-mm.
the customer service here is downright horrible. I wouldn't tip any of them if unless it's actually worth it or
Yeah,
you know.
my gripe really about all of that is that thinking about how it is here in the Philippines, there's so much potential, like
Mhm.
fixing the culture, fixing the way we think about certain things. There's so much potential, except there's just really no direction or no
Well,
there's no like common like kanya kanya. It's like you want to do it that way, go ahead. It's a free country. You want to do it that way, go ahead. It's a free country. It's like we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. I don't know how to like say that cleanly and eloquently, but
right, right.
sayang eh. Kumbaga parang like you're complaining about your what's going on there. There's a lot of bad things also going on, which makes me think that there's a lot of good things going on here, except we don't really like push forward. Maybe because like the US is not doing it, so we're not doing it also.
Maybe it's just not. Well, you know what though? In regards to that, the whole customer industry thing or customer service, the Philippines is just doing far more than what it's being done here. That's it. It's more deserving to tip in the Philippines than it is over here. Sad to say,
We should title this episode "Tipping in the Philippines."
Yeah.
right?
Example na lang kamo. Kunwari sa tao na lang naghati-hati.
Yeah.
Sana
Mm.
hindi na rin nakakatanggap yung supervisor and anything na
Mm.
matataas ang position.
Mm.
So let's do a quick lightning round of all the other stuff because of all the other stuff that we could be talking about. This just one or two things that I wanted to jump in, Jason, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to share like a little memorabilia of quad.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first place that I went and watched a movie
Hmm.
ever. Was like I remember it was no, not Spider-Man, Superman.
Oh,
It was standing, and this is where my mom and I watched in quad, and then Glorieta,
you know,
and then now on the bottom it's 2023. So this was taken last year. That's what it
so
looks like now.
the the very first quad picture up top, I remember that. I
Yeah.
distinctly remember that because the last movie that I saw there, I actually went there.
Mm.
Um, it was me and my older brother. The last movie that I saw there was Back to the Future.
Oh wow.
First time, yeah, the first one, the very first Back to the Future.
And the thing that I remember, aside from watching my first movie there with my mom, this is also where she freaked me out. She was driving,
Mm.
and then there was like a taxi that cut her off, and then she wanted to cut him off also, and it's like, roll your window down. I was sitting on the passenger seat, of course. She was driving. Roll your window down. I want to tell that taxi driver something. I'm like, no, mom, let's just go park. Let's
Right,
just
right.
go. And it's like, no, roll your window down. And then she was like, really like, "Bleh, bleh," really shouting
Man,
at the taxi
it's
driver.
that place has changed so much. Though. I still can't believe when I saw that picture. I'm like, Back to the Future. It just popped into my head because I remember talking about it. The way that picture laid out in that street. There's a
Mm.
scene in Back to the Future at the movie theater where it
Oh,
looked like that too.
right, right, right.
And that's what I was saying before as a kid. I was like, oh my God, that happened outside.
Nice. Okay. One more thing. Maybe we'll probably talk about the China invasion in another episode,
Sure.
but I don't want to let go of balot. We're everybody's like when we're talking about eating balot, you're like, ew, it's so no, like this, like
Right,
so
right.
it's so what's the word? Exotic and like ew, kadiri or what?
I
But
think exotic is a far fetched call.
this might lessen the guilt. I mean, aside from it looking disgusting, for some
Right.
people, they might say that we're boycotting balot because we don't want to kill animals with their chicks.
Oh,
Their.
whatever. Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to say, I found out just recently because we got ducks laying also. Balot pala are the eggs that you eat if they don't hatch after 28 days. I don't know how
Eh?
true this is, but this is what I find out. Yeah, like they don't.
So
We don't
ducks are
necessarily.
supposed to hatch after 28 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they don't hatch, that's when people, or at least that's how it started. If they didn't hatch, people are probably like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with these eggs?" Filipinos being, ingenious. Like, what
Oh,
are we gonna do with these
God.
eggs?
Oh,
Let's cook it.
Yeah.
Let's boil it. Let's see what happens, and then that's
right.
how maybe how balot started. Instead
I
of
mean,
throwing it away in the garbage can, we'd pop it in the oven and eat it.
it's a literal definition of fresh food.
Fresh food. Pero yun, so that's opposite of the other delicacy that we have here. It's like odoks. Have you heard of odoks?
No, what's odox?
It's an acronym from ODOKS, one day old
Yeah.
chick. Ano,
Oh,
simple,
I did.
simple
I
lang.
have had those. Now, those are different because those are actually yummy when they're deep fried.
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's the difference. The other one is like stale or stillborn eggs.
Oh, okay, okay, all right,
This one, they're literally one day old, as in they just hatched,
Yeah.
right.
and then you decided to fry them.
Which is 10 times worse to begin with. Okay, because because
Exactly.
the balut is already like they're kind of dead already. Now these ducks they hatch out. They literally have to hatch out, and then you gotta and then deep fry them. You know.
Yeah,
But the
exactly.
egg, if the egg, pag ayaw mo siyang 28 days,
Mm.
organic egg ang labas.
Organic egg naman ang labas.
Yeah.
What
Kakainin mo pa
is
rin.
what are those eggs that are like battered and then deep fried?
What are the
What's that?
eggs that are battered and deep fried? What do
Right.
you mean?
It's
Uh-oh.
like okay. Yeah, you're. Yeah, I took it out real quick because so you give you a chance to fix your camera. I think it's like quail eggs or I don't know what it is, but it's like dipped into a batter
Mm.
Oh.
and then um, deep fried.
Mm.
Now, I don't know what it's called, but I've had it one time. I think. Ooh, what is that called?
No idea.
I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. Don't worry about switching it now because we only have like 6 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm done with my balut rant and all the other bullets,
Right?
lightning round stuff that I wanted to talk about. What
Yeah.
about you? Is there anything else that you wanted to rant about aside from why are we researching about eggs?
No, we're not. We're not. You just brought it up, the balut, and then we thought you brought up the 1 day old. Quick story, by the way. So I was drinking in the street, with in the driveway, and some of my friends. Now this is the most amazing,
Yan,
oh
narinig yung
man,
picture.
tech of whatever that came up. Okay,
Ng egg.
so we were drinking. I bought 2 cases of the San Miguel light beer in the blue cases, right?
Mm.
And then we're all sitting in a circle, yada yada yada. And then on top of that, I'm like, oh, so what are we going to use for pollutant? And then
Mm.
somebody suggested, oh, there's this guy selling a 1 day, 1 day. I'll go get
Mm.
it. He comes back with a propane tank, right?
Mm.
Connects a goddamn thing where it's like a stove on top of a propane tank that I've never seen in my life that
Mm.
looked so sketchy. And then a pot filled with boiling oil, and they just fry it right there. But I'm like, you're frying that thing. You're just connecting a hose on a propane tank and frying it right there. That thing's gonna explode. And he's like, no, it's okay. It'll be fine. When I say propane tank, I mean like a propane tank, okay?
Mm.
Like those things that we actually use for the barbecue grill. And it's just funny how Filipino ingenuity, right? Just they're boiling
Yeah.
it on top there. But that
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
very first time that I've ever had 1 day old. Although they dipped it in that batter again, that when it came out after being fried, it looks kind of reddish. I don't know what that batter is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the orange.
Orangey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing.
Orange
Same batter
orange
that was
batter.
used for the egg.
Yeah. Well, what can I say?
Right, right. But oh man, see now I miss those things. Like barbecue, the chicken intestines. What do you call those? That was my favorite. Oh,
Anong tawag dun? Yung bituka ng manok?
isaw.
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 Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that balut. Holy crappers right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So those are the eggs that have been hatching with the guys in the back.
Yeah.
With Donald Duck right there.
And then, baka yung isa din, manganganak na, ay
So
mag-iitlog na din.
yeah, so it turns out we have two female. We have two
Oh,
female. So both of them
balut
are
all night. Balut all night. So
both
that,
of.
Penoy and balot.
It means both of them are pregnant.
Yeah.
right, right. That is just insane, man. That's insane. Although, are you actually planning on like cooking that thing?
No, no, we're gonna let them live. This first batch survives.
let the first let the first batch survive, and then let's
Yeah,
fry the crap out of the other ones.
yeah. Yung ang kanyang itatanim, kanyang aanihin.
And then the whole, duck, this one,
Uh,
binibili ng Chinese here.
What do you
yeah,
mean?
that's Peking duck.
Peking duck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, roasted. Oh no, no, no! Don't roast her.
Yeah, but my dad, being the farmer that he is, he likes to have these animals around because they have their own purpose and what they do. So these guys, like for example, run after like yung mga uod or some of the
Dati.
critters or
God,
whatever
it
things
just
running
sounds
around.
so gross in
So
Tagalog.
these are not necessarily for food. They're here to like clean the garden and
Right,
play with the dogs, I guess.
right,
Actually,
right.
the cockroach.
Oh, and they run after the cockroaches. So that's
Ugh. Oh,
there's this parang what's the word when they're like living off of
circle
each
of
other,
life.
circle of life kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a more like scientific word that I'm looking for. I don't know what it is. But yeah,
Food
but so
chain.
this food chain. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty
no,
much
but
it.
there's another nicer word
The more
aside from food.
humane you say.
Like they're helping each other, kind of.
They're
Anyway,
their
forget it.
they're their own fertilizer. It
What
helps
else you
them
got?
grow bigger.
That's my little checklist of things that I
Yeah.
wanted to share with you.
No, I think I'm good. That's it for me. We went through pretty much everything in the list. Uh, oh,
So
you know what? Let's talk about that in the next episode because I think we're done. I really wanted to talk about this whole residential benefits,
Oh, yeah.
how that
right,
works out for you guys. Because I know in the Philippines,
yeah,
I think I'll try
right,
to find the proper explanation about it
yeah,
online, but
right. No, no, no. Another subtitle for that would be then, yeah, the benefits are going to be different depending on which city you live in, or
right,
whatever the local government comes up with. I mean, it's like their prerogative. But yeah, we'll talk
right,
about that.
right.
And then aside from that, there's also the silent invasion of China and the Philippines. This video that you watched.
Did you actually watch that?
I was skipping through it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing
Okay,
yet
so I
that
watched the
night.
whole thing, and goddamn, is she right, man? Is she so right? It's- now that I think about it, holy smokes!
Something to look forward to in the next episode then.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I think we are done for today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in.
I think let me be the one to cap that one though. I think the what's interesting is that it's not just an invasion because of the south, because of the China Sea or the
No,
shoal or
it's a
what.
lifestyle.
It's like a different. There's so many different sort of facets of the invasion. I mean, it's not just the island over there.
It's been planted in Philippine culture since the Philippines has started, since the Spanish colonial days. Because, hey,
Maybe,
the very first Chinatown built outside of China, right there in the
but
Philippines.
maybe the question is it a cultural thing going on, or is it really actually technically an invasion? We'll see. Something to be debated.
All right, guys.
Right?
Well,
Right?
thank you very much. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're
No,
right. You're right.
like
We'll
if
talk
you're
about
thinking
that on the
about
next episode.
if you're thinking about tipping in restaurants, is that actually a culture or is that an
Well,
invasion of the waiters
it's
or
kind of funny because it was definitely a Chinese woman that chased me out of the restaurant over there. you know.
something to look forward to on the next episode or somewhere down the line? We'll talk about it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much again for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed us. Please continue to support us, like, share, subscribe, yada yada yada. Again, this is the flip side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
Name's Noel.
We'll check you guys later.
On the flip side.
Bye bye. You can catch the full episodes on youtube.com at The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. Full episodes uploaded